right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Richard Taylor here. I have a special guest, my brother, Mr. Cedric Parker, better known as Ceddy P. How you doing?
Doing all right, brother. Doing all right.
That's good. So, if you don't know Cedric Parker, you are from Goldsboro, right?
Originally born and raised.
All right. So you're from Goldsboro, born and raised, graduated in like the 90s?
Yes.
Okay.
91 exact.
Class of 91. Shout out to Class of 91. So me and my brother been talking a while, and he's just recently moved back to Goldsboro, right?
Correct.
So we've been talking about some of the things that he's seen in the Goldsboro area and things that he has encountered and deal with. So I'm gonna let him talk about those things. And of course, you know, we're gonna interject. But also, if you don't know, he's a comedian, right?
That's correct.
Comedian. Ceddy P is a comedian. So you know, we're definitely gonna talk about that. Matter of fact, just let me ask you, what made you get into comedy?
Pain.
Pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I started doing stand up because I moved to the Washington D.C. area, and I lived in Washington, Maryland, the DMV we call it. Lived there over 30 years, and I always gravitated towards making people laugh. Anybody know me that was here, I went to school with, I was somewhat of a class clown, so to speak.
Okay.
So, you know, I kind of like took that and ran with it because I enjoyed making people laugh. And how I really got started, I owe a cousin and I owe my father, because I would call him and leave messages on his answer machine, and he would call me back. He said, man, people come over the house, we would save it and play it back for them, and they would be, you know, rolling.
Uh-huh.
And basically, when my father got the call to ministry, you know, he called me one night and he was like, look, he said, that's what God wants you to do. He wants you to do comedy. Man, you're naturally funny. He said, God revealed that to me. That's what he wants you to do. But I was hard-headed. I didn't do it. You know, I was in the workforce. I had a good job. I just kept rolling with it. And I just did it on the side. But every time I would do a show, you know, it went off well. And
Okay.
you know, but then when I got to the point in my life when the doctor told me I couldn't work anymore, and I went through some sicknesses, and I said, well, I got to do something to occupy my mind.
Okay.
And during the COVID time, I had caught COVID. Thank God I'm here. COVID almost took me out of here. And after that, you know, I had a wake-up call. I said, look, you know, people going through a whole lot out here. Laughter is the best medicine. So if I can put a smile on somebody's face, that's going to help me out, you know, as well as them.
Okay. And you talked about actually coming back to Goldsboro, right?
Right.
When did you come back from
I
DC?
actually came back to Goldsboro last December.
Last December. So you talking about 2023 or 2022?
2022.
Yeah, because we
Right, that's right, 2022.
So from 2022 to now, you know, you've had the experience, I guess, after being gone for what, 30 years, maybe?
Yeah.
30 years. So you come back home, and you mentioned something that we're going to talk about trying to do some comedy shows in the area. How did those come off?
Well, I linked up with, and I got to give a big shout out to my cousin, Patrick Williams. He's the one that got the ball rolling.
Okay.
And I linked up with him and Marcus Smith, Pier 34.
Pier 34. Shout out to Pier 34.
Yes, indeed. And I got with him, and he linked me with this dude from Raleigh by the name of Reese Roy. And he has the Love and Laughter tour. And I hooked up with that, and that got the ball rolling.
Okay. And so you did shows
At the pier. I did maybe 4 or 5 shows at the pier.
You did 4 or 5 shows at the pier, but you also done some in other locations.
Yes,
right?
I've done some shows in Maryland and Durham.
Okay. So with the shows at the pier, how did they compare to the shows at the other locations?
Totally different, brother. Totally different, man.
Totally
you
different.
know, I love Goldsboro. Don't get me wrong, folks. Like I said, I grew up on 1610 South Slocum Street. From there, 105 Rockefeller Court, West Haven.
Haven.
And then from there, I moved to 803 South Madison Avenue, and I'm like, I'm deep rooted in Goldsboro. family wise and all, but the love, you when you see people, you get it, but when you out there doing something, they don't gravitate their love towards you.
Okay.
And it's kind of sad, man. It ain't kind of sad. It is sad. If you see somebody trying to do something positive and uplift themselves, support them. Mm-hmm. It ain't like I'm not the type of comedian. I don't rag people in the audience. Now you got hecklers and stuff like that. Yeah, if you're a heckler, I'm gonna chop you. I'm gonna chop you up like some barbecue.
Yeah.
But that ain't my main goal. My main goal is to entertain. I'm not the funniest brother in the world, but I know how to make some people laugh.
Okay.
And laughter is the best medicine, man.
Yeah, definitely.
The stuff we go through, man. As a race of people, we the only people that can laugh when we down.
Yeah, and like you said, pain. We laugh at our pain.
Yeah.
Which helps us to get over it. So why do you think, because we talked about this off camera, why do you think, and it's not just in Goldsboro, but there are a lot of other places where, black people are, I see black people supporting each other. So why do you think that fails to happen at times in this city right here?
Because from what I've seen, and I hate to say this, is that green monster, man. That jealousy and that envious, and the jealousy and being envious of someone, and maybe necessarily not that, but we just need to support one another. Even if you don't have the revenue to do things, your word of mouth, that's how people find out about stuff, word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And see, we had medias here in Goldsboro that spoke for us as black people. WOKN,
okay,
Metro Times.
Okay.
All that is gone. Radio is not a big thing anymore. But we had venues that made us grow as a people. We don't have that no more. I grew up in an era where, if I'm at next door, I live in your next door neighbor. We outside playing as kids. You may not do something wrong, but your mother or your father looking out the window see me mess up. Hey, you know better than that.
Yeah.
Hey, they're going to get you. Oh, look.
I'm going to tell your daddy.
I'm going to tell your mom. I'm going to tell your daddy. I'm going to tell your grandmother. And, and the one thing I always tell people, you said it, I said it. If we ever have kids, hey, man, I ain't going to be hard on my youngins like my peoples was on me. Mm-hmm. We always say that, that's how the generation break down. Oh, I ain't going to be hard on them like my people were hard on me.
Yeah, right. But there's a certain need for that, to kind of guide a child and discipline them rather than make the child feel comfortable. Because a lot of times we wasn't comfortable, but I learned a whole bunch of lessons, from being uncomfortable and having to go out and rake leaves and pick up pine cones, and take out the trash, wash the walls, and like, man, ain't nobody else doing this. Why I got to do it? But it was developing a work ethic.
That's
what I'm saying? So when I was 12 or 13 years old, I was able to take a lawnmower and go down the street and push it and make $20 per yard. So
there you go.
It's that work ethic that we lack in. I talked about the same thing. Like I was literally asking my mother, last night, why do black people, don't come together, especially around here. And there was disagreement with me. So what do you think could be done?
It's just like we need to forget about, it ain't about no status. If this person, like I said, I grew up where in my household, say like if you was able to go out and buy a brand new Mercedes and you call me and say, hey, Cedric, hey, Ceddy P, man, I just got a brand new Benz. Man, I'm going to be happy for you just like it was me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we need to get back to that, because I seen the time, man, my grandmother would take her last and pay somebody's bills, man. And no, we had bills. Like I said, I didn't come from, a lot of people thought, man, I maybe came from a wealthy family, but I didn't. Like I said, 1610 South Slocum Street, I was right beside an auto body shop and in front of Hood Trailer Court.
Oh, you down there by Pee Wee Artists?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I was down there, man, Green Acres. It wasn't called Courtyard. It was called Green Acres.
Green Acres.
When I grew up.
And then West Haven.
Yeah, like I said, West Haven,
But
we used to call it West Hale back in the day.
Oh, yeah. as hell. Yeah, or the West Side.
Yeah.
You know, so, but how? So when you left Goldsboro, right?
Mm-hmm. July 5th of 1993, exactly.
93. So you was pretty much right out of high school almost.
Mm-hmm.
What caused you to leave Goldsboro?
Some things that was going on. I just feel like, I feel like I was in a dead end, and I'm not ashamed to say I was out there drinking, smoking weed, getting high, ripping around the street on the weekends. And a lot of people didn't know that I did those things because, when I did my dirt on the low. Nobody, you had a handful of people know that I did those things because everybody thought, oh, hey, little squeaky clean dude. But, I wasn't, I grew up around that stuff, man. But I thank God that I had a deep-rooted family to, to get me from out there. And I'm not going to put a person's name out there, but there's a brother, and he's well known in Goldsboro, but I had to call him. I mean, one day I was sitting, man, I was thinking about, some things and there's some negative things that from the past. And I had went to him. I had started going to Lenore Community College. And I saw him at the Zales when the Zales was a club.
The Zales, okay.
Yes. And I walked up to him. I said, hey, man, me and you go way back, man. Our parents and, your uncle and my dad and all that. I said, look, man. I said, why don't you give me some, some coke to sell, man. Them white boys in Lenore, they own that stuff. I said, we can get paid. And, man, this brother pulled me to the side, put his arm around my neck, and did like this. He said, man, if you ever come at me again, ask me anything like that, I'm going to tell your folks. He said, and I'm going to put a bullet up in you.
Yeah.
And he said, if I find out you went to anybody else and asked them, he said, I'm going to get you.
Yeah. And see, that's what is different now.
Yeah.
Even the guys who were out in the streets back in the days, they wouldn't let you touch it because they knew what it came for. Whereas now, you got guys out in the streets ready to get young guys out there and kind of do their dirty work. So, that's real. That's real. I had that experience, not the exact experience, but I went to certain guys who were older than me, and I looked up to, and I was like, hey man, he was like, nah man, nah, this ain't nah. Go play some basketball. You know what I mean? So that I think is the difference of now, where you got guys in those positions who are not deterring the youth, but they're actually recruiting the youth. And so that's definitely an issue, all the way around. So, and we also talked about, I guess, the powers that be around here, and especially, I guess you would say the black people with either political clout or business clout and things like that. What do you see when you see or interact with those people, or what have you seen from that group of us since you've been back?
They want to do things, but I ain't gonna say they're afraid to do things. But if you want to do things for us as a people, you're gonna well, they're gonna begrudge you, they're gonna break it down, or they're gonna tear it up. They don't know how to act. But like I said, if the more opportunities you bring for people, like I said, yeah, these young guys out here doing it, they got to do to survive. Because that's all they know. Mm-hmm. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
But like I said, you don't knock somebody because that's, they got other routes. But if you don't teach a man how to eat, how you going to eat?
They're going to do what they feel like is best.
That's it. But, a lot of times, you got, like I said, it's old school. You got babies raising babies. If, like I said, if you can't tell me, how can you tell me how to get somewhere and you don't know your past? Your past dictates your future. Mm-hmm. And if you can't get ahead in life, you don't know what you don't go back. You got to go back. And that's how you get ahead, because you learn from your past. See, you use your mistakes as a stepping stone. I made a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of things wrong, and I learned from that. I'm 52 years old. Am I paying for them now? Yes, you always gonna pay. You reap what you sow. But I've learned from that. I didn't let that break me down. It got to a point where it started messing with me mentally. But I had to take time out and say, look, thank God for my spirituality and my upbringing, that I knew how to pray and talk to God. And you know, and a lot of time in the black community, it's taboo to go seek mental health. Mental health is, you know, you got white people, oh yes, I go see a psychiatrist. Oh yes, I got a therapist. It's great. Oh, I love it. Oh, they brag about it.
Yeah.
But we don't do that.
Nah,
you know, first thing you do, you know how them old folks, Lord, you know Richard going to see a psychiatrist. I knew that boy was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they do. But see, you can't go like that.
Yeah.
You know, anything that'll help your mind. And like the first therapist I went to go see, she asked me, she said, Mr. Parker, she said, why do you feel that black people have such a mental status? I said, well, problem with being mental health. I said, well, it dates back to slavery. I said, your eyes are key to the soul. If you see your relatives getting beaten, mistreated and everything, you seeing the overseers coming out, raping the women, degrading the men, raping the men and all that goes into your brain. Your eyes is like goes to your brain, and all that affects you. Stuff you see and you hear affects you mentally. And so you don't think that get in the bloodstream and go through generations and generations, might skip generations. Cause like, so is with your ethnic background, everything. You could have two people, your parents. You may not look like your parents, but you might look like your great grandfather. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's just all that. And some things skip generations, but it come back.
Yeah, something, and I did some research on that, like how trauma is passed down. You know, trauma is passed, like you said, witnessing those things, like, you know, just like if you're in a relationship and you're fussing with your significant other all the time, like the baby's gonna come out under stress, you know,
That's
under
right.
duress. So those things I think people want to overlook sometimes. Well, you know, get over it, or you know, well, that was then, this is now, but a lot of people don't understand that the after effects, the residual effects, are still, you know, affecting us. So since we know that, because I was talking to my cousin, you know, last night, and she's, you know, she's very pro-black, and she was like, okay, we know, I'm just so tired of that narrative. Yeah, we was done wrong. Yeah, you know, we still affected. So what do we do now? How do we correct it?
Well, we got to correct it. First, you got to have self-love and you got to have self-confidence, and you got to come together as a whole. You know, you got to let stuff go, because like, you look at any other race, and I'm going to use our Mexican and our Spanish brothers and sisters.
Okay.
They can come in, they can be in a one-bedroom apartment. They got a bed here, a bed here, a bed there. When they get paid, they all go to the grocery store together. They all put their money together and go to pay the rent. They all, like I said, one get a car. They all use that same car. That some of them save up money and get another car. Then they help one another.
Okay.
And see, black people, we used to do that. We got to get back to that now.
Okay.
You know, because Goldsboro is a gold mine. I'm telling y'all, Goldsboro is a gold mine. And if you got everybody here that's black business owners, if y'all come together, like I'm gonna use The Wire for emphasis.
Okay.
Remember when Stringer Bell got all those drug dealers together and they had that collaborate, and they would meet at the hotel, had these conferences. So they got together and put their money together, and they started businesses. See, that's you cleaning the money, but you getting yourself out of that situation. Not saying you have to sell drugs to do that, but if people come together, they got their own businesses. If everybody that own a salon, a barbershop, funeral home, anything, y'all come together, invest into something here that is black owned and black ran, and start hiring and teaching these young black women, these young black men how to do the same thing. You know, you're gonna have some ones that fall to the side. But like I said, if you give a man a key, that don't mean you got to open the door for him. You give him the key, they got to open the door. And cause like my favorite song by James Brown is, I don't need nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door, I get it myself. But ain't nothing wrong with getting some help. You know, I still need help.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny because I'm talking to a young brother now. He's trying to get in the construction realm. Like, he has a small business, and, you know, they have the government contracts, the bidding and things. So he employed me to kind of help him, you know, look to the bidding process, because you know I'm kind of, you know, good with information and numbers and things. But he was telling me about other prominent businessmen, black businessmen in the area who we go to, and it's like, well, yeah, you know, Well, yeah, basically he's saying they don't want to give him the
The
information.
knowledge.
They don't want to give him the knowledge. They give him the runaround and things like that. Almost if it's to say, well, I don't want to help you out because you're a threat to me, and it's almost like I guess what they said the Willie Lynch syndrome was. They pit the old,
against the young, and the young against the old,
and the young against the old. So, do you think that is an example of that?
It is. But I challenge every black person and anybody of color. I don't care if you're white, brown, orange, or yellow, whatever you call. You need to read those Willie Lynch letters. That will open up your mind and your spirit and your soul, because you will see how they take and manipulate it. He did that, manipulate us as a people. But like I'm like this: if you can't get knowledge from your black brother, go get knowledge from your Spanish brother, your white brother, or your Indian brother. Anybody that's gonna talk to you. Like if you want to get in construction, talk to some Spanish boys. You see them out there. They got these trucks and they doing laying bricks and stuff like that. You see them working on houses, doing buildings. You talk to them. Anybody that's gonna give you some knowledge, you take it from. It ain't got to be just your own people, cause we all God's children. And like I said, I pass my business cards out to white people. I talk to white people, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not a racist person, but anybody you make feel comfortable, they'll open up like a book. They'll give you knowledge, and I get a lot of knowledge from talking to other races, not just my race.
Yeah.
But see, we got to learn to upbuild one another. Because like I said, you can't be like, such and such wears Jordans, I got to wear Adidas. So what? Be thankful you got shoes on your feet. There's a word my grandmother used to say, the late Geneva Cox Parker. She always say, you thank God for everything you got. She said, if you homeless and you sleeping out in a cardboard box, you thank God for that cardboard box because somebody else ain't got one.
Yeah. And it's sort of like a quote I heard from a dear friend of mine. He said, I once complained because I had no shoes until I met the man with no feet.
There
you know what I'm saying? So we got to get out of that mindset of competition too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If America is kind of bred on competition, capitalism, in order for capitalism to exist, there has to be poor. So but if we as a collective can, get over that, okay, well, if I don't have to, I got to take it from you. Or if I got it, I got to keep it from you because there's not enough. There's more than enough once we, once again, begin to work together. And, as far as, living amongst and learning from people of all colors and all races, I've begun to really realize how essential that is, because everybody needs each other. Everybody, we can't coexist without each other. So I'm grateful for, my brothers and sisters of all different races who have taken the time to say, all right, Richard, I see what you're doing. I can help you out. Or you should talk to this guy who's doing these things. And I'd be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But once again, that comes from me opening up as well, because I don't know what it is where a lot of people see me or they were like, I don't think he likes me, or why? But I'm not that way. So when I open up the door and speak, hey, how you doing? What do you do? Oh yeah, you find out that you have more in common than you do against each other, and then okay, well, yeah, he's not a bad guy. You know what? I was thinking, you know what I mean? And it's really it's a great thing, But if we could do that to each other, of course, it would be much more beneficial. But I'm grateful, for my brothers and sisters of different races who have reached out to me. Like literally, I just got a text from a young lady, a Caucasian lady who is in recovery like I am. She's way out in Hickory, but she reached out to me and said, hey, we're thinking of opening a mental health facility in Goldsboro. I would love to see what you think about and how you can help.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Sure, I'm all about recovery. Like not just for a business opportunity, but like I literally want to help everybody recover like I did. So
yeah, because you can't look down on a person for the mistakes they made. And like I said, quoting something that I heard Malcolm X saying when I read his biography. He said, before we can try to get along with other people, we got to learn how to get along with ourselves. And the main thing about, if you see somebody struggling and you got the revenue or the ability to help them come up, and I like people know when I go live on Facebook, I say something like, "Don't look down on a man unless you looking down on him to help pick him up." You got some people now. You can't help everybody because some people are just leeches. They want to take what you got. But if you got somebody generally trying to help themselves, help them. It ain't got to be always monetarily. It could be some information, could be some food, some clothes, anything, or point them in the right direction. And like I said, I used to clown. I remember when I was living in West Haven, and the police would come there and chase somebody and say, "Which way did he go, little boy?" I said, "He went that way." But like I said, I know I was wrong. But it's like we just got the main thing. Like I said, I appreciate. I thank God what you're doing, man. I see what you're doing. See, this is power right here.
Yes, sir.
And see, it's gonna spark somebody. It's gonna somebody that need change. They gonna change. People get tired of where they live and they're like, you gotta change it yourself. Can't nobody change it for you. Yeah. If you got people willing to help you, and you know what, you can do this, you can do that. Everybody got a talent. God give everybody a talent, but it's up to you to take heed of that. Now, me personally, I've been knocked down so much, man. I was like, hey, I'm gonna give up. And I'm not ashamed to say I was living in Bladensburg, Maryland. Okay. I had a step up from an efficiency apartment. Man, I didn't have a vehicle. My vehicle had got totaled. Man, I was working 2 jobs in McLean, Virginia, and I'm living in Bladensburg, Maryland. I used to have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch the first bus to either New Carrollton or Rhode Island Avenue Station in D.C., man, so I could get to work out in Virginia. Yeah. And then I would get off. I work from 8:30 to 5:30 in a mailroom, and then I go from 5:30 to 9:30 doing janitorial or doing security. And a lot of times I didn't get home to maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had to walk in the rain, the snow, man, worry about dogs and man, people trying to stick me up, all that, man. But God got me through that.
Yeah, and you got to go through those hard times to get where you're at.
But you know what's crazy? You know what my dinner used to be sometimes?
What's that?
You know those little Debbie oatmeal cakes?
Yeah.
But they was 25 cents. And I get a 99-cent 2-liter RC Cola. That's the only thing I had in my refrigerator at times, sometimes, man. But nobody knew it but me.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, when you're going through hard times, sometimes it's best for you to be by yourself. And, being a man, you get lonely. You get them needs, you get them urges. Hey, you just got to, do like Teddy P said, you got to let it go. Because like I said, nowadays, romance, you ain't got no finance, you ain't going to get no romance.
Yeah, and that's another issue that we probably have to touch on a later date. Yeah. But, I was literally talking to someone about, relationships these days. It's almost like, if you don't have this, that, and the other, or if you don't look like this, that, and the other, then we've been conditioned to say, okay, that's not a good woman, or that's not a good man.
Right.
I think about my parents who got married at 19 and 17. Yeah. Both of them were single parent homes. Both of them lived in the projects. They got married, loved, grew up, built together, sent 3 kids to college, opened up businesses, started the churches, and so that's what I see when that's what I think about when I hear people say, well, I don't know, if you don't make six figures, if you don't, do this, that, or vice versa, it's because it's not just women who have those standards. I'd be like, man, we missing it. We might be missing
so when I saw that, man, the young sister that put that list talking about the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
But, I didn't get mad about that. But what I got mad about, she said, well, asking me to go to church is a bad first date. Man, I like, what the hell is your problem? Yeah. If a brother is spiritual and he wants you to go to church with him, that says a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the caliber of man he is, especially if he got a spiritual relationship with the Lord.
But that's once again that's telling on how that lady or where her mind was.
Yeah.
What she values and deems important.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you just got to learn how to cut your losses. Like, okay, you're not the one for me.
Yeah. But here in Goldsboro, Richard, they got opportunities. But like I said, you got to get out there and search it. If you got somebody and I'm speaking to these young ladies that are young mothers who are raising these men by yourself, these young men by yourself. Even the men that's raising young men by yourself. You got, there's nothing wrong with getting food stamps, nothing wrong with Section 8 and all that, but don't get stuck in that. Use it as a stepping stool. Use everything you get to step up to change your life. If something not working for you, try something else. Just don't get to the point where my mama ain't have nothing, I'm not going to have nothing. Don't think lowly of yourself. Do what you got to do. You might not can't afford the best clothes in the world, and you might have to walk around with some raggedy shoes or some raggedy clothes. But, do what you got to do. Still have self-love and pride in yourself. I don't care how bad things get. I know days I had cornbread and collard greens for dinner. Nobody knew it but people inside my house. But that's food. If you got to eat beans out of a can, don't be ashamed of your situation. If you ain't got no furniture in your house, you ain't got running water. There's things you got to do. They got help out there, but everybody that need help don't always get help. And like I said, I'm not telling you this because what I heard. I'm telling you is what I know. Certain things that I have been through in my life, and it helped me to turn around. Because I got to the point, I had so much anger in me, Richard, man. I used to sit and I said, man, I used to get so mad at people and the way my life was going. I said, man, I bet I could take their life and get away with it. And, and that won't nothing but the enemy.
Yeah.
When they say you got an angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other shoulder, that's real.
Yeah.
And I had to get myself out of that mentality. And then when, first of all, we got family members that, might have mistreated you or, did you wrong. Hey, you got to learn to forgive them and let that go. You sitting there, you like, man, I ain't gonna, and pretty much that you ain't gonna be this, you ain't gonna be that, you ain't gonna never have nothing, your mama won't nothing, your daddy ain't nothing. See, all that getting drilled in your head. And you gotta stop that. You gotta cut that off and don't hear that, don't listen to it. I know it's hard, but you gotta do that because everybody got a purpose in this life. And Goldsboro is a mecca for that, but it's gonna take us to change it. Me, Richard, you, and everybody else. And not on just us as a people, you're going to get everybody to come together, all races. Goldsboro should be a melting pot. And like I told you, during alumni weekend, Goldsboro make, man, from what I understand, and it's just, if I'm wrong, somebody out there that know the actual amount, please correct me. But I heard that from that Monday to the holiday, Goldsboro probably make over a couple $1 million, man.
Yeah. I think I heard as much as 10 million.
Yeah, 10 million. Yeah.
Don't quote me as well.
Right,
so.
with the restaurants and the the hotels and everything and the venues, why not have a place where, like East End, the building they got the H.V. Brown Center, okay, the people rent that out and everything. But what about the other part of those buildings? That building could be anything, man. That could be a training school.
That's a big building.
That could be a training school to teach people a trade. See, I'm gonna tell you how a lot of black people got ahead in life.
Oh yeah.
Trade schools.
Yeah, they don't have them no
more. No, you don't have.
Right?
But see, you know why? The government got to looking at it and say, wait a minute, and I'm not a racist person, but you got a lot of them niggers get that. Look, that nigger drives a Cadillac, and he got that big house lot. Hell no, he ain't gonna get that damn. No, we got to stop that stuff. And that's how they do.
Yeah, it was.
But like I said, with trade schools made a lot of people successful because if you could, like in Washington D.C., what they used to do, you went to school. You could train to be a fireman while you in school.
Yeah.
They had that, man.
You would
police force, all that.
With certified, electrician or plumber.
Yeah, bricklaying and all that.
Yeah, like they literally had that. And
just like Goldsboro, they used to build houses there.
Yeah, brick mason, Mr. Langston and stuff. So, yeah, that was definitely a covert effort, because I did some study on that. Like, it didn't just happen here. It happened everywhere. A lot of places.
Right, because the trade schools were putting out more people that's been elevated in life than the colleges were.
Yeah.
And the colleges started losing money because everybody not college material, man.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't college material. Now, when I went to school, I went to Lenore Community College for radio broadcasting. As long as I was on that board talking on the mic, I was good, but on that classroom setting, G George, I couldn't get it,
And that's the problem sometimes with the American educational system, which they grade everybody on the same standard. Like guys might not be good at math, they may not be good in reading, they may not be good in science, They may not be good in history, but you put a broken printer in front of them, and they don't got to read no manual. They can look at it and fix it. But there's no class for that, right? There's no
teach
great.
a man how to fish, he'll know how to eat one.
Yeah.
If you teach a man how to fish, he can eat, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go, all day long.
So that's there's no education to bring out the individual talents of a person. So those things are. What they were there, you had the choice. Okay, auto mechanics, this, that, and the other. Okay, what are you, what have you been interested in school? But now it's just okay. If you're not good at writing this paper, you're no good to society.
And I remember Wayne Community College had an automotive department.
They still do.
They still do. Oh, okay.
They still do. And that's another thing too, where we think we always have to go to these universities, or going to a community college is some type of failure. Like, no, you have to start where you. The best thing I ever did was go to a community college in Norfolk, because what that did was get my mind back to working. Okay, with that, I like learning. I like writing. I like reading. Okay, and from that, I just did my own thing.
Yeah.
So, we gotta start looking at things a little different. When it comes to us and where we're at in society. So, and I appreciate it. For you coming on. Definitely gonna have to do this again.
Oh, yes.
But is there anything else that you might, that you think you might have left out, from previous conversations or anything?
Well, the best thing I can say, man, you gotta have a spiritual ground. You don't have to be Christian or anything, but you gotta believe in something. And the most thing, you gotta believe in yourself. Because, if you don't have no faith in you, you don't have faith in you or have faith in a higher power, how you expect to come off? Because we all got auras that we give off. And, it's how you approach people and how you talk to people. Because I'm going to tell you something that I told a young lady and a group of young ladies years ago. I said, you know what? I said, I'm not the best educated person in the world. I didn't do that well in school. I said, I made it my duty to do this. And then one young girl said, well, what's that? I said, I can go to the tallest building in the biggest city and have a conversation with a CEO and a COO, and I can go down in the lowest hood and have a conversation with a crackhead, a pimp, and a hoe. See, you got to govern yourself. And see, the biggest thing with us as black people, we the only race that need to be a chameleon. And when I say chameleon, people think I mean sellout. It's not being a sellout. You got to be. What a chameleon do?
They change to their environment. They adapt
to their environment. That's what we need to do. We need to adapt to our environment. You need to learn how to talk to white people. You need to learn Caucasian people. You need to learn how to talk to everybody. You ain't got to speak their language, but you need to learn how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And if you're a good communicator talker, that's why I got into comedy, because I can go in anywhere and grab that whole room's attention.
Yeah.
And talk to them. Like I said, if you make people feel comfortable, they gonna open up like a book, tell you everything they need to know. And everything I find out from just sitting in doctor's offices, talking to certain people, certain Caucasian people, and they told me everything I need to know why certain things are not here in place in Goldsboro. And we're gonna elaborate on that next time we get together.
I knew it was something that we didn't touch on.
But see, there's a lot of things. See, some people don't like change. See, Goldsboro is in a key location.
Okay.
And it's like I said, it's about an hour from Raleigh, an hour from the coast and everything. This area right here, and with the base. This lady told me, she said when they was supposed to put a Red Lobster here, they shot it down because they know it's going to create bigger revenue and moving more people in. And see, but the more money, Goldsboro would make a lot more money if they would get money from the base. See, if people live on base, they come off the base to shop. They got the PX and everything there, so they don't really need to come off base unless they want to. Yeah. But there's no entertainment here.
Okay.
And there's no entertainment for the youth. And I said my generation may be on to maybe a little farther than that. We the reason why there ain't no nightclubs here. There's no place for you to go party and dance because we cut up. We wanted to fight, shoot up the place and all that. Yeah. But we were just expressing ourselves, not in the right way.
Exactly.
But there's no way, man, you can't, go somewhere and go dancing with your lady. It ain't, you dress up and go places. Then you don't have that no more, But thank God you still got the pier. But we need something here for the 45, the 40s and up age, And something if you want to do some hand dancing,
Some hand dancing.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, that's what it called. It's like hand dancing is known big in the DMV, and it's like
like line dancing.
It's different from line dancing.
Okay.
You're dancing with your lady, but you kind of like got a little step, like stepping.
Okay.
Like what R. Kelly said, "Step in the name of love."
Okay.
That form of dance is hand dance. You dancing with your lady. You're spinning around. You take your little steps.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Like the old time joint, like the sock hops, and what I'm saying.
Similar to that, but it's more smoother.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
It's more laid back and cool, man. You see them dudes, man. We all saw the step in the name of love video.
Yeah.
So basically, that's kind of like one hand dance. They call it stepping in Chicago in that area.
Okay, stepping.
Yeah, but that's a real smooth dance and stuff like that. Even down here, you got certain genres that beach music. They call it shagging. Basically the same type of dance, but they call it the shag.
Okay.
You got like the beach music, like the Beach Boys and where you got the Drifters, Under the Boardwalk, all that stuff like that. Them old songs like that. That's what they kind of grooved off of,
Okay.
It's more like a groove, People don't groove no more, because I always wonder, when you see folks doing this right here, I thought they would check and see if their deodorant was still good. But Dracula used to do that right here,
Dabbing.
Yeah, I'm like, that ain't dancing. We used to, so we had that snap, and we did that right there. We move,
Okay.
I came in the era where, we was,
blocking.
We had that, we run and stuff,
that's.
But I'm like, but they just need something here, because they got some DJs, and shout out to DJ Dre Ski, man. That dude go on live on Facebook, man, he'll take you back.
Okay.
And see, we need a place where we can go.
What's his last name? What's his real name?
Andre Warren.
Okay, yeah, I knew.
Man, they need a spot where this dude could go in and throw down on a Friday or Saturday night. I guarantee people come out, man.
Yeah.
Somewhere where you can go listen to some Rakim, some Heavy D.
To bring them people in too. Like we need a good spot. We got the Paramount Theater, but I don't know, how that goes. But we need like a nice nightclub where somebody can come and.
Yeah, because he wanted. Because me and him was talking. I went to this barbershop one day. He was talking. He said, "Man, I want to go old school." You remember, like back in the day, used to have the dances, man. You might play some hip hop, then you break it down with a little Ready for the World. I know some of your listeners don't know what Ready for the World. Play some Keith Sweat. You get the slow dance.
Yeah.
Slow dancing is how you got in there, man. Especially, you get a girl on the floor, slow drag with her the right way, man. You can get a girlfriend like that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you get on the floor, where they dance now, you ain't got to slow dance because they throwing it on you as soon as you get on the floor.
Yeah.
We need to go back to that romance and that chivalry day,
But it's sort of like, it's being kind of desensitized now.
Yeah.
Because everything is just out of here. Come get it, Come get it. And you be like, what I'm saying?
Like I said, man, the old saying, so you can't trust a big button and smile.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's like, man, nowadays, it's just like we just need to get back to that, man, being romantic. I remember I asked some ladies, I said, when the last time a guy took you on a nice romantic date where he, cleaned up his car, he was dressed real slick, took you out? I ain't never had that. And I'm like, that kind of hurt me. You ain't never had that? Nobody brought you no flowers, nothing like that? And then my man was talking about, we in D.C. He like, yo, Joe. He said, man, I'm buying my don't know nothing about that. He said, man, look, I'm going to ask y'all this. When the next time dude took y'all to the movie, and then after y'all left that joint, y'all went to the liquor store, and then maybe went to Burger King, and he took you back to the Mosey Woes and knocked that joint off.
Yeah, they know about that, huh? Yeah.
But like, it shouldn't be that way,
Yeah, that's.
It should be some, courtship,
Mm-hmm. Yep, some romance. Like
because like, man, when I met my wife, man, it was crazy, Richard, because it was like, she told me, she said, well, look, we can date, but she said, I'll spend the night with you, but we're not having relations. I said, huh? I said, you know what I told her? I said, look, sweetheart, I said, I don't buy no shoes without trying them on. I don't buy no car without test driving it. She said, "These one pair of shoes you're not gonna try on, and this one car you're not gonna test drive unless we get married." But I respected that.
That's what's up.
And I tried my hand, but she was like, I tried my hand, and she showed me her hands, But we've been married 5 years, man, going on 6. And I'm like, man. But that intrigued me because I wasn't used to that, man.
And that's to tell you how special she was. So how long did y'all date?
Oh, we dated for maybe probably no longer, maybe 6 months before we got married.
Yes, okay.
But see, what really got me with her, the first time I said, look, she had a family cookout at her family's place, and I said, look, what you doing tomorrow? I said, why don't you come go to church with me in the morning? Okay, let me go pack a bag. When she said, you gonna go to church with me? I'm like, man,
that was it.
Yeah,
that was it.
I like the antennas went up, man. I said, okay. So she didn't say she wanted to go to church, and that sparked it right there. I said, man, you know what? That's a sign right there. When you get a sister to go to church with you. Man.
Yeah, that's it, man. So so we're gonna dive back into a little bit about, like you said, why things are the way on the business end, next time. But man, I thank you for coming, Mr. Ceddy P.
No problem,
now,
brother.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to check you out, they want to book you, if they want to schedule a show?
You can find me on Instagram, and it's Cedric Parker 3298 on Instagram, and all lowercase. And I'm on Facebook, Ceddy P on Facebook.
Okay.
And like I said, I got I'm on YouTube. It's Ceddy P on YouTube. And like I said, I'm on all of them except for Twitter. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm on TikTok. I'm on TikTok at Ceddy P. So I'm on Facebook Messenger. Hopefully, there's power in the tongue. So hopefully March 30th and don't quote me on this, but I'm just putting this out there. Hopefully March 30th in Raleigh at Uptown Dogs, the Love and Laughter Tour with Reese Royal. Hopefully I will be there on March 30th. It ain't chiseled in stone yet, but hopefully that's gonna be my next thing to do.
Okay.
And like I said, man, y'all support these black-owned businesses around here. Let all you brothers and sisters that got businesses, push it out there, man. Gravitate your people in, man. Reach one, teach one. Just don't be like, I got mine and you got yours to get.
Yeah.
Show up. If you, like I said, you teach a man how to fish, he always know how to eat.
Yeah.
And we got to do that, including me. And like I said, I don't preach to people if I'm not doing it, So
yeah.
I got to, like Michael Jackson, I got to start with this man in the mirror.
The man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you do, like I said, like me, I always put my number out there, 919-587-7782. If you don't have any of those social medias and you want to get in touch with my brother, feel free to call me. Once again, 919-587-7782. This has been a introspective look, with my brother Ceddy P. We're going to have him on again, a little short on time today, so we wasn't able to take it as long as we wanted to. But once again, I certainly thank you for coming, and y'all be on the lookout. We're going to have more conversations like this and more. Peace and blessings. Much love.
Blessings and peace. And put on deodorant and change your drawers.